More laughter. More fun.
Dude, again, just a plug.
More LAC. Only here on INCRadio Los Angeles.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone tuning in to INCRadio Los Angeles. My name is Sister Jalen Factura from the local congregation of Eagle Rock #ER. And today we have a very special topic that I'm sure everyone is excited to talk about. I had to get dressed very early for this so that I could get on the same level as our panelists here today. But I am not alone. Before we continue on with our topic, I have another guest host or guest panelist with me today for her debut. Sister AJ, good morning.
No pressure, Sister Jalen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Sister AJ from the local of Oxnard, #OXN. Thank you for joining us today, INC Radio. Sister J?
Thank you so much, AJ, and no pressure at all, because today we're going to have one of those conversations where we're talking about things that we find interesting. But before we continue on, I did want to do a quick recap from last week's broadcast. So last week, we actually spoke to our brethren who participated in the Band Together activity that happened in the Philippines. So if you did not if you were not able to watch that broadcast, it is still available for you to watch. We found out a lot of very interesting things about our brethren from Band Together, like Carlito giving his story about maybe learning the bass the week of the activity itself. So if you missed that, go ahead and find it on the YouTube if you look up INCRadio Los Angeles, or for any other of our broadcasts that we've done previously. So Sister AJ, today we are going to be talking all things fashion, but it is not just you and me. We are very fashionable ladies, I will say, but we do have other panelists with us today. So who's with us today?
Yeah, so let us start off with Brother Ramon from the local of LA. Go ahead and take it away, Brother Ramon.
Hi, good morning. Well, my name is Brother Ramon Tioseco from the locale of Los Angeles, California.
And what is your local hashtag? Do you know what it is?
Hashtag LA.
Cool. And how would you describe your personal fashion style in about 3 words?
3 words: modern, classic, masculine. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can totally see that. Oh,
Cool.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll go over to Atalay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sister Lisa De La Torre. I'm from the locale of Pasadena. Our hashtag is PAS, Pasadena, or PAS. Yeah.
Cool. And then for you, how would you describe your fashion sense in 3 words?
Wow. Okay. It's hard to describe yourself. But I would say eclectic, maybe like sophisticated at times, and like, chic. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally see that. Atalay, she has like one of the best styles of anyone that I know. So thank you for joining us, Atalay. And then for our final panelist for today, you guys know him. You guys see him all the time. We have Brother Stefan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brother Stefan Andrade, coming from the local of Santa Clarita, hashtag SC.
And Brother Steph, how would you describe your style?
I would say bold, dapper, and vintage.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear more about your style today. Thank you for joining us, Brother Steph, as a panelist today. All right, Sister J, we're going to go ahead and go right into our topic.
All righty. So once again, thank you to our panelists here. We're going to start off with you, Brother Ramon. So when you're shopping, what's the first thing that catches your attention?
The first thing I look for is things that stand out. Like, especially now with shopping online and all the websites that you can get things very quickly and sometimes very cheaply. I like to find things that is hard to find anywhere else. So whenever I travel, I try to find things that are mainly made in that area or will not be easily found somewhere else. So in other words, just find something that'll make you stand out.
Absolutely. And I think that your style does attest to that, I would say. What about you, Atalay? When shopping, what's the first thing that catches your attention?
When shopping, what catches my attention is patterns and color. So like what Brother Ramon said, there's so much out there, but, I do like to go thrift shopping, going to vintage stores, even at different like small shop, like markets where there's like pop-ups of like unique different designers. You can just find something that's unique and different. And, and when we travel, I always find something that, okay, that's my souvenir when I get
Oh
something.
yeah, that's a nice souvenir, something that you can wear at home and remember your trip.
Yeah.
So, Brother Stefan, this one is for you. Do you follow any specific fashion icons or trends, or do you like to create your own looks?
I would say both. Like I would say, just looking at there's times where I'll look at, a lot of celebrities or other fashion icons that are very that really gravitate towards my style, just like what I said, very dapper, very vintage. Those are the, or any other actors that, that really dress, really good. I try to, grab that inspiration. And then as well as like whenever I do feel like, very dapperish or very that I want to dress up more for a really good occasion, then, I'll go from that. So yeah, it just depends, and it just depends on what I feel on that day, or if it's, some inspiration that that I look into.
Yeah, and I feel like you have a very specific style too. Like if I see something like you have like a lot of color and then like a pattern, or like
Yes.
for like a pop of pattern versus like a pop of color. So yeah, I like that you have a style that is uniquely Stefan. Before I asked Brother Ramon the same question, I kind of wanted to plug Brother Ramon. What do you do for work?
So I'm a personal shopper and personal stylist at Neiman Marcus Beverly Hills. So I'm
So this
based
is
out,
your job.
yeah, I'm based out of the Beverly Hills location, which is the largest store in my company, and I primarily style athlete celebrities, like heads of state, and basically very high net worth individuals.
Wow.
So
So I guess this question is either for you or for the people that you're styling. Do you follow any fashion trends or?
I mean, I have to, of course, see what's out there and see what resonates in like popular culture right now. But a big part of my job is staying ahead of that and giving style to a lot of the people that I style. So I definitely have to create my own fashion sense and pull together what I think will work, not only for myself, but for my clients. Because at the end of the day, if my client is not happy or with the way they look, they'll never come back to me. So I'll have to definitely make sure. And at the same time, I also have to style myself, because if I'm not styled well, they won't listen to what I have to say.
Yeah,
So,
very true. So you're the forefront. You're the one that's creating the things that Brother Stefan is influenced by.
I try my best to, yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you, you guys, for answering those questions. And I'm glad you brought it up, Ate, about what Queer Ramon does for work, because it is kind of cool, right? Like you don't see a lot of people in that field or that industry in particular. So I do appreciate having you here, Queer Ramon, for your insights as well. So we're gonna move on to Atalay. We do have a question for you about what kind of clothing or outfits make you feel the most confident or comfortable, or both?
The clothes that make me feel confident and comfortable, I think, like tops, blazers. I love blazers, but different types, not just like, like the formal blazers, but again, pattern, patterns and colors, because I can easily accessorize with them depending on like what I'm feeling. So I think like blazers and then dresses, like I think we've worn dresses all our lives. So, I like to see what's different, what is, what someone doesn't have, then that's me. And I feel really comfortable in them because then you can sell those with shoes, high, low, flats, boots. Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about accessories later.
I
I
know.
love accessories.
Oh, accessories it's a big one.
And we will touch on that a little bit later, like the AJ did say. So what about for you, Stefan? What makes you feel the most confident or comfortable or both?
It's that's a good question. It really depends, just it depends on my mood. Like for example, especially for church meetings, right? Whenever there are some like church activities, when I do want to feel very confident, very to the point where I know that I'm going to an activity where it's very important to dress formal, right? That's when I want to look my best. And there's times where like I want to feel a little more bold, a little more a little bit more risky, but to the point where it's still following the rules of fashion. And that's one of my inspirations to really just to look at my best whenever if it's for another church activity.
Speaking of rules, Brother Stefan, are there like specific fashion rules that you like to follow or break, I guess?
There's of course there's rules for especially for men's fashion. I'm pretty sure Brother Ramon he knows that a lot, but just building a versatile wardrobe that you can definitely look at and really just match the occasion. There's times where I'll go a little bit to the point where to break rules, especially when it comes to like mixing and matching patterns. I there's some tendency where I'll break some rules, which is a big no. But I do try to make sure that whatever it is, like for example, if it's like a pattern, or let's say it's a texture that I want to really match in, or making sure that some a texture is a big a big point of my theme, right? I do want to make sure that it still looks good, and it doesn't really it's not really too distracting to the point where like it's very distracting, but I'll try my best to make sure that it still fits within the within the theme of my go-to thing.
I feel like nowadays, like mixing and matching patterns and stuff is not really like breaking rules anymore. Like everyone just does it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah. Atalay, how about you?
I think I've been breaking rules on clothing for a long time. I guess starting when I was young, I would wear like big rocket dog boots, furry boots, and very different from my friends, but it's just, whatever you feel like wear it, and so, there are times where I walked out and I'm like, okay, I look really silly, but you know what? I felt good. So,
Wow.
and then of course you fit check yourself, or you prep things, or you think about, okay, where am I going? And, dress appropriately. So I don't think there's, breaking rules. There's colors and things that should maybe not go together. I'm sure Ramon knows all that, but yeah.
Do you have any? We were talking to Atalay earlier about this, about your like purple jacket. Do you have any like go-to wardrobe staples that you like to wear often?
I think I have a lot of like different unique like tops and coats, and you can't always wear those all the time because then it just like, you overdo it. So I have a lot. So I can't necessarily pick which one because I do love clothes and but I think just overcoats and I love to layer, so I don't really have a specific go-to. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that earlier that Atalay, she just is always looking great.
Aw,
Like,
thank you.
yeah, very stylish. Sorry, Jay, I totally like messed up.
You did not.
Yeah,
I don't see
yeah,
any
I'm like all
mistakes that
over the
happen
place.
here.
Yeah.
No, you're good. We're having a great conversation about these fashion staples,
I know. I just like want to hear more about you guys.
No, absolutely. I think that, well, we were talking about it before we got onto the broadcast. Queer Ramon, you said that you were given a specific color, or you asked, like Ate Christina, what color you wanted to wear. Did you want to like go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So, well, Sister Christina would probably complain that I have too many clothes, but I have too many clothes. It's part of my job, so that's my excuse. But so in the morning, I'd like to think that I'd ask, I'll ask Aviana or Logan, my son, hey, what color should I wear today? And then whatever color that comes in mind, I'll just build my wardrobe based on that. And that's my style inspiration for that day. And honestly, it makes me feel good. It's the color that my kids told me to wear that day. So
No, absolutely. So when you ask your kids what color, or Ate Christina, what color you want to wear, is there like always a specific item of clothing that you gravitate toward, or you just go with the color and then you go from there?
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of go for the color and go from there. When I was younger, of course, I'd gravitate towards a particular piece that I loved. Now that my wardrobe has grown quite a bit, and like I said, Sister Christina is probably laughing listening to this because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Right now, I try to just make sure I try to use everything that I have. So
No,
give life
absolutely.
to everything in my wardrobe.
That's a great tip, because there are times where, well, I myself have issues with my closet. I think it's bursting at the seams currently. So I am trying to also like wear items that I do have. And that kind of brings us into the next thing. We did touch about it a little bit, but let me go back to you, Brother Stefan, about what role do accessories play in your overall style? So do you have a favorite statement piece or anything that you gravitate toward on the daily, or how does that look like for you?
It's it's more of I'm pretty sure like the local of SC knows this of Santa Clarita, but like it's more of the tie clips and the lapel pins. It's and just the ways you can definitely accessorize the little details. It's I think that's the most important part about it, about your overall outfit. The accessories tie into your overall outfit, and just the tie clips and the lapel pins. It's in the other accessories, like for example, like I know like they're just watches as well, or maybe some some jewelry, right? There are a lot of it just makes everything tying together, and those are the most important parts. Just the small little details make a whole difference when it comes to the outfit itself. So definitely it's the tie clips for me. I love wearing tie clips. It could be different shapes, different styles. That's my thing to really gravitate towards too.
Awesome. Thank you. Atilai, I wanted to ask you the same question about the accessories and how they play in your overall style. You did talk about the blazers and the loafers, and I do love a good oversized blazer, especially when you wear them. But how do the accessories kind of help you out with your overall style?
I think, like I mentioned, I do like patterns and, like different colors. So it depends, what I'm wearing. Like, am I going to go big on the accessory? Am I just going to go with one? Like, I don't need earring, necklace, bracelet, like for certain outfits. So maybe it's, I could be completely like plain, simple, all black dress, and then just a simple necklace and like pearl earrings. Or I can be in this like eclectic shirt and then have like, these nice big earrings. And then that's it, I'm in jeans. So, and then just like bracelets and stuff. But I find pieces at, again, like, different shops. If they stand out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have that for a while, then you know what, it's a keeper. And then you find things to match it with, so like first thing I do in the morning is really put on earrings and my watch. So then you just kind of like pick and choose, certain things, but yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's like backwards of what I think normal people do. They pick out their outfits first and then they go, well, I do at least, and
Yeah.
then earrings and accessories. But I actually want to talk to Brother Ramon about accessories too, because I don't know if you guys saw, but like he got some accessories. So
that I do.
Show it, Ramon.
Accessories is, especially for men, I think it's kind of like an overlooked thing. A lot of men think that it's, it's not for them. But I actually think it's the opposite. It's a perfect way to show your personality. And personally, the reason I got into accessories was every time I traveled, it was hard to find pieces of clothing sometimes that fit me perfectly. Or, and I just, got sick of buying like souvenir t-shirts because that's the only thing that would fit. So I started probably about 10 years ago buying like a ring or a bracelet or a necklace that would remind me of the place that I'm traveled to. And it kind of got me going that way. So every time I travel, I try to find a piece or two of jewelry or accessories that would remind me of that place. And it's kind of become my thing. So
and I am sure you travel a lot for your work.
yes, I do. Definitely. So it gives me an excuse to buy more stuff.
You hear that at the casino?
Exactly. Like I said, I don't. My wife Christina's probably shaking her head the whole time listening to this.
Giving a thumbs down.
Exactly.
Hold on, Jay. We
Yeah.
have to pause the conversation because I think someone just came into the chat.
We do have a new panelist joining us today. Hey, Sister Chloe.
Hey, Sister Chloe.
Hello, good morning po.
Good morning. Sister Chloe, can you tell us where you're from and your local and 3 words to describe your fashion sense?
Of course. Hello, good morning po everyone. My name is Sister Chloe and I'm from the local congregation of Oxnard. And if I had to choose 3 words to describe my personal fashion style, it would have to be dress over jeans.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see later. We'll
We'll
get
see.
some
You
slides
guys will
of
see,
Sister
yes.
Chloe's clothes. Yeah. So Sister Chloe, we're gonna ask you a question before we move on to the next segment.
Mhm.
Let me see. What kind of clothing or outfits make you feel like, confident or comfortable?
Well, from my personal style of 3 words, definitely dress over jeans makes me most comfortable, and because it's such an easy but chic outfit. It really just adding a skirt over jeans, I feel like dresses up any type of normal outfit, even if it was just a t-shirt and jeans. Also, I don't like clothes that are really form-fitting, and so like a dress really like, spoofs out. And so having that over jeans really makes me feel most comfortable.
Ooh, and then do you have like specific items that you wear often? Accessories or clothing wise?
Lately, I've been really into like long skirts because it's such a nice way to make spruce up lack of a better word, plain outfit. Say if you're just wearing a t-shirt, if you wear like a long skirt with it, it can just, make it look more stylish, chic. Also, I'm really into on the topic of skirts, like skirt wraps to easily like put it over jeans, pants, even over skirts. I love layering, if you can't tell. So yes, that's what I've
And
really been into.
and being in Oxnard, we can layer because it gets so cold over here.
Yes, yes. Blessed with the cold weather.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Sister Chloe. We'll talk to you a little bit later. But for now, speaking of weather, we're going to go to our CWS weather reporter. Who do we have today?
Hello, my name is good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Sister Abriana reporting the weather from Los Angeles. It is sunny. A sunny 62 degrees and will be so today. It is a perfect day to go outside and play. Go outside to have a walk. Reporting live for INCRadio Los Angeles Central Studios. Signing off, bringing you more laughter, more fun, more LAC.
Beautifully done. Thank you, Sister Avi, for giving us our weather report. Do you have any shout outs you would like to give?
I'd like to give a shout out to my locale, LA, and my family.
Thank you, Sister Avi. Thank you again for giving us our weather report. I cannot wait to go on a walk today. Thank you for letting me know that I can do that. So if you guys are not aware, we're going to tell you right now, Sister Avi's dad is Brother Ramon. So we want to thank the Tioseco family for being with us this morning and for giving us all the tips on fashion and weather. But as we continue on, we are going to give a bit of our shout outs from our YouTube comments. So I'm going to start with, we have Sister Elizabeth Honrade, who says, happy viewing to all brethren, #SC, Brother Stephen, I think you know who that is. We have Sister Mirna Belong, who says, happy viewing po, #LAN and #LAC. Sister Eileen Joy Rodriguez, who says, happy viewing po, #ER. We have Sister Jabel saying, Riri is Mama and Papa's fashion icon. We dress accordingly to Riri. #SFB. We like the accessory of baby girl. That is a great.
She is the accessory.
She truly is. We have Sister Rosalind Soto, who says, good morning to all the brethren from #ER. Happy viewing po. We have Sister Jackie Atienza, who says, good morning po. Greetings to all. Happy viewing po from the city of the gorgeous roses. #PAS. And we have Kaijim Cordova, who says, good morning po. Happy viewing po from #ER. At the AJ, who else is there?
We also have Sister Mercy Solomon saying, greetings po from the local congregation of #Northridge, district of #Los Angeles County. Sister Bree says, good morning to everyone. Happy Saturday, #SC. Sister Len Salas says, happy viewing po. Have a blessed day po. And that is Sister Chloe's mom. We have Brother Sean saying, happy viewing po, #OXN. Speaking of moms, my mom, Sister Bond, says Sister AJ loves her accessories. We know that. #OXN. Let me see. We have Brother Ivan saying, Chloe! #OXN. Yeah, we will read the rest of these a little bit later. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to put in your hashtags for your local. All right. Go ahead, Sister.
No, you're good. Okay, so we're going to start with Brother Stephen with this question. So how does being a member of the Church of Christ influence the way that you approach fashion and your personal style?
Ooh, that's a good question. It really is to the point where, like, you know, when as members of the Church of Christ, you know, it's especially really important because it's for us to really present, ourselves, first of all, to follow, to present ourselves to our Almighty God, right, and to make sure that we are presentable, right, and the way to do this is to present ourselves in a more formal way, for us to really make sure that we are able to dress appropriately, right, especially when it comes to our fashion and the way we dress, right. As members of the Church of Christ, there is a certain way, right, to to dress, and which is to dress really appropriately and making sure that it is it is presentable, right, especially to our Almighty God. So definitely it is, when it comes to fashion, we have to make sure that, it is appropriate, and making sure that we are, presentable, especially when it comes to, church activities, to worship service, right? Most importantly, and that's what makes me really inspired, and just to be inspired, just to dress, really good, because it really wants me to, just to really be inspired to dress more better, every day.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're gonna ask the same question now to Sister Chloe. So I'm gonna repeat it. How does being a member of the Church of Christ influence the way that you approach fashion and your personal style?
Being a member definitely does have a very huge influence over my personal style, because being a member of the Church of Christ just has me remember the dress code of like wearing appropriate things, and as Brother Stephen said, what we wear to please our Almighty God. And a huge reason why I love this dress over jean, I'm a dress over jean fanatic, is because a lot of my friends outside of church wear rather shorter skirts and shorter dresses than what I would like. And just growing up in CWS choir, and even just being in choir now, I know that short skirts are just very much a no-no for me. I just, even if I could wear it, I just don't feel comfortable wearing it. And so a huge reason why I started wearing dress over jeans is I could wear those dresses while it's still being appropriate. Yes.
Thank you, Sister Chloe. I do like your fashion style a lot. I have seen the skirt situation that you're talking about, the skirt wrap. I'm a big fan, but I'm also a big fan of yours. So thank you again for sharing that. Ate, do you have any other questions for our panelists?
Yeah. So this one is for Brother Ramon. How do you balance expressing yourself individually through fashion while staying true to your values as a member of the church?
I mean, being a church member and officer is a really big part of my life, and it actually shows in a lot of the ways I dress up actually for work. So, for example, I'm also a deacon, so I perform every Thursday and Sunday, and I automatically go straight to work afterwards. And uh, I'm always wearing a blue suit on Thursdays and a gray suit to work on Sundays as a result of performing. And now all my coworkers and everybody know that I'm coming from church that day. So it's a way to, in a way, also express my faith. And it also allows me to center myself and not go overboard with my fashion senses. As you can imagine, especially working in an area like Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills, in LA, sometimes fashion choices can go overboard, personally. And like in so many aspects of my life, being not only a member, but also an officer, keep me grounded and keep me from crossing that line, but at the same time expressing myself. So I actually have this great story. I once had a big like a like a meeting. It was all the top heads of my company went to Los Angeles. It was a big thing, and I had to perform. I was still in the Eagle Rock locale, and I had to perform 5:30 a.m. service. So I went straight from the 5:30 a.m. service straight to one of the morning meetings, and someone came out of the elevator to see me and was shocked to see me that early, completely dressed up in a suit. And later on, he came up to me, and it was actually the president of my company, and he said, I just got to ask you, did you come from like a party last night? Because, thinking that I was, that for this really big event, I was not focused. And I actually said, you know what? I actually just came from church. I perform and volunteer there. And I don't think he believed me at first, but then he got to know me, and then he realized that I wasn't lying, and it completely changed the way he viewed me. And I like to think that hopefully I have that effect of the way I carry my life, not only with people around me, but also my family as well, because they're not going to follow what I tell them to do if I don't follow it myself.
That's an inspiring story. Thank you for sharing that, everyone. At the J.
Okay, I'm gonna. Man, that was a good one. I love
Yeah.
that.
How do we
story.
follow that?
I know. It was a great story. Let's actually move on and ask Adeliza. So, what do you want others to think or feel when they see you dress in the way that reflects your Christian values?
Sure. So I think like the way I dress and how I feel and what I want others to feel is that, you know, you can always still show like who you are, showcase who you are and what you love through fashion, but always put high regard for what the occasion is. Because it is, you know, it is for our Almighty God. And I remember this one time I heard, you know, if you're going to go see the president, you're going to dress your best, right? So anytime I attend a church, you know, activity or, you know, any special gathering, you know, I always want to dress my best. And so I'm going to bring it forward and show God that I'm, you know, presentable and I'm, you know, conservative, but then you can add your accessories and then you can add your pop of color, you know, that shows you, or you can wear particular shoes or heels. So, but then you can show people that you feel good about it and you're professional about it. And, you know, like what Brother Ramon, you know, mentioned, he brought up a really good point. You know, how we carry ourselves at church really is how we carry ourselves professionally. And people really, you know, give high regard, but what more when we're at church, because God is really pleased when we are, you know, showing him our very best, our Sunday's best. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And I do have similar stories as well of like, you know, I also do perform in the morning worship service and then sometimes I go straight to work. So then there is somewhat of a feeling of, I do feel like a superhero, right? Like you feel like you're like changing out into a different outfit. You just came from a performance and then now you're going to go to work wearing the exact same thing. So I think there is something really important to say there about like how our values and the way that we dress does reflect in the way that we present ourselves when we're not just at church, but when we're at school or work or wherever we need to be. So I do appreciate the stories that we have. We do want to extend that question to our other panelists. So for Queer Stefan, what do you want others to think or feel when they see you dressed in a way that reflects our Christian values?
So when it comes to, you know, just my reflection of, you know, of how others, you know, perceive, you know, me, it's just more of, you know, yeah, it's just more of the modesty and, you know, and also the integrity that, that we all carry. It's not just myself. And the way how you dress, you know, it definitely reflects on how serious you are when it comes to, you know, pleasing God, right? When we are dressing our best, right? You know, we always want to look our best when it comes to, like when it comes to, you know, pleasing our Almighty God, right? And, you know, this definitely reflects on it, right? We all want to make sure that we are, when it comes to church, when it comes to, worship services, right? When it comes to our church activities, just like what, just like what what we all, been taught was to always being able to make sure that we're able to present ourselves in a more presentable way, that, that everything that can be, when it comes to our homes, when it comes to the way how we dress, right? It's always in a high level, right? And we all, when it comes to when they see me, right, it's more of, oh, this person's more serious, or this person's, looks really good, right? And it reflects, like whenever I go to, let's say, a grocery store, just simply buying milk, right, in the cash register, they're like, is this guy going to a meeting or something, right, like that? And you get that, you get that look, or you get that compliment. It's like, oh, you look nice. Like, are you going to a meeting? Are you going to an occasion? And then I always say to them, I always tell them, no, I'm going to church, right? They're like, wow, that you're dressing that hard for a church meeting, right? Or a worship service, right? So it gives a lot of people, that look, or that that they're that that view where this guy's really serious. So definitely it shows. It definitely shows.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And I wanted to actually ask Brother Owen if I know that you talked about how people at work view you, when you're deacon out. But is there anything else that you wanted to add on to that? How you want others to view you, or how you want them to think you, when they see you dressed in the way that is reflects your Christian values?
I mean, of course, I want to be representative of who I am as a church member, but I also want to be representative of church members also, how we can dress up well, but conservative at the same time. I think sometimes there's a misnomer of thinking, oh, I have to be aggressive or I have to step outside my boundaries to be fashionable. No, you really don't. You can dress up in the manner that befits us as church members, but still look good at the same time. It's not mutually exclusive. And I think that's what I hopefully try to represent as well.
Yeah, I think that also goes along with what Sister Chloe was saying earlier on, like how she chose her style based off of, she wants to wear similar things to her friends, but in a way that is true to her as a member of the church. Sister Chloe, is there anything else that you would like to add on to that?
Yeah, I hope that when others see my fashion sense, I hope that they're influenced by me and realize that you don't need to show a lot of skin in order to be fashionable. As Brother Ramon has mentioned, you don't need to be really aggressive with your fashion in order to be considered fashionable, especially with fashion trends nowadays, as at the AG highlighted when I said that I wanted to dress similar to my friends outside of church, but not in the way they approach it. And also just Gen Z fashion trends nowadays, I feel like clothing pieces are getting like smaller and smaller, showing more skin. And so especially during this time, just showing others that that you can still be fashionable while being modest and conservative. And as Sister Lai had mentioned, that when you're going to visit the president, you want to wear your best outfit or best attire. And I just always remember that our mighty God is always watching. He knows all our thoughts, everything that we say, all of our actions. So in the same light, we would always want to be in the best attire at all times in order to please him. So yes.
I think this is one of my favorite conversations we've ever had, guys.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, we're going to ask if you guys have any shout outs. So we'll start off with Brother Ramon.
Shout out to my family, of course, Sister Christina, rock of the family, and my son Logan, oldest, Aviana, my only daughter, who gave a great weather report, and baby Zavi as well. And of course, the locale of Los Angeles, and Eagle Rock, still family.
Thank you, Brother Ramon. Thank you for joining us, Sister Lai.
Hi. So thank you, one, for the INCRadio family. As always, you guys do an amazing job. And congratulations, AJ. And then a shout out for my family, Brother Hector, Francesca, and Harlow. And to my Valentine family, and of course, local of Pasadena. And to everyone else who's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you, Atalai. Thank you for joining us. Stefan.
Yes, big shout out to the local Santa Clarita, my family, and especially my brother. Like literally, he's my inspiration when it comes to dressing nice. So that's my big inspiration. Like literally, like I literally look up to him when it comes to like dressing, matching all these colors and stuff. So definitely big ups to him.
Thank you, Brother Steph. We'll see you, you're on radio all the time. See you next time. Sister Chloe.
I would like to give a shout out to you at the AG for asking me to be a part of this broadcast. I would like to also give a shout out to the locale of Oxnard, and as well as my parents, especially my mom, because she is a very big influence on my fashion today.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, if you think Chloe's fashionable, her mom Sister Elena, also very fashionable. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Sister J. Let's close it out.
All right. So we want to thank our panelists and our weather report today. We want to thank you guys for being here with us this morning. Also, shout out, like we said, to Sister AJ. Beautifully done this morning. We want to continue to give a thank you and a shout out to all of our viewers and our listeners who continuously support our broadcast every morning. We want to say a special mention and thank you to our executive producer, Brother Manly Andaya, and to our station manager, Brother Wali Tarai. We also want to shout out and say thank you to our district ministers and the resident workers here in the District of Los Angeles County, California. A special thank you to our CEBSI CEO and CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Irano Vimanalo, and a very special thank you to our most beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo Vimanalo, for letting us have moments and broadcasts just like this. And we will see you next time for INCRadio Los Angeles as we bring you more laughter, more fun,
more LAC.
LAC.
I'm excited.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.